Okay guys, I'm going to be doing a review of the new Star Wars The Clone Wars arc. And I'm really excited about this. So this is Boba7772. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, the Clone Wars is over, blah blah blah. And I know that there's some people who haven't heard of this because I was like 2 days late to hearing to this. But they released 4 new Clone Wars episodes. They showed this kind of series that they're going to be doing. That consists of the Darth Maul comic that we got, the Ventress Voss novel we're getting, and 4 new episodes that they released. It's a Utapau arc that's based on Obi-Wan and Anakin. Now the only catch is these episodes are not finished, but I kind of think that makes it better. So I'm not going to go into detail about every little thing that happens in this episode. Pretty much Anakin and Obi-Wan go to Utapau to investigate the death of a Jedi, figure out that Grievous is there. There's this species that is trying to make a deal with Grievous to sell him. They sell weapons to the black market. They try to sell, they're trying to sell Grievous this Kyber crystal, and everything's going bad. So Anakin and Obi-Wan are sent there to stop it. So the first episode pretty much consists of them investigating. Second episode was my favorite because there's one scene I'm going to describe in a second, and I love this scene to death. It's probably one of my favorite scenes in the entire Clone Wars, probably right after the Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order scene. It was so beautifully done and it was superb. So the second episode, then the third episode, we get some more action. We meet the main villain. I think Grievous comes in. It's really cool. And then the fourth episode is a conclusion to everything, which I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. So pretty much it has Anakin and Obi-Wan on this crazy adventure that's just really, really enjoyable to watch. So the second episode, the scene I was talking about, Anakin and Obi-Wan are walking, and Anakin's like, I'll contact Ahsoka, make sure, and then he just kind of stops and he's like, never mind. And Obi-Wan's like, do you want to talk about it? And Anakin's like, what is there to talk about? She's gone. And then Obi-Wan's like, okay. And then it cuts to a campfire scene, like right after that. And Obi-Wan's like, Anakin, she's not coming back. And he goes, and then they talk about Ahsoka for a while and how it's affecting Anakin, which I really, really love. It shows, these episodes show Anakin getting so much darker than he was in the Clone Wars, and I love it. Like, there's some funny scenes that reminded me of the one from the Voyage of Temptation, I believe. It's the one where that one dude is like, okay, who's gonna kill me? The pacifist or the one who's scared of his girlfriend? And he's holding the bomb to the ship. Then Anakin comes and stabs him in the back. That scene, that was an awesome scene. That was one of my favorite scenes in the Clone Wars. And there are a couple scenes through this arc that reminded me of that. It was really funny. And not just one, there were like 2 or 3. It was awesome. But it shows Anakin getting darker, and it kind of has Anakin and Obi-Wan talking about Ahsoka, and Anakin kind of blames the Jedi Order. He's kind of upset at Ahsoka. He misses Ahsoka. He flat out says that, and he says to Obi-Wan, how would you like it if I turned out to be a major disappointment? And I was like, oh, Anakin, why would you say that? Ahsoka wasn't a disappointment. You know she had valid reason. And Obi-Wan was like, well, Jedi aren't supposed to let their emotions get the better of them. And that's exactly what Ahsoka did. And then he's like, don't worry, you won't be a failure. He's like, I'll never have to worry about that. So it's really sweet that they've kind of got like a brotherly relationship / best friend / maybe father-son relationship. Obi-Wan and Anakin have one of the best dynamics I've seen, and that's one of the best parts of the Clone Wars, honestly. Even though my favorite character is Ahsoka, and I like seeing the Ahsoka / the Clone Wars original stuff first, most of all, like Maul, Rex, Cad Bane, Ahsoka, you know, characters we don't know the fates of, because that makes it all the more interesting. I really love the Anakin Obi-Wan dynamic, and it makes the fall in episode 3, especially this story arc by itself, it makes episode 3 so much more sad. So that's all that they talk about Ahsoka. It's not long, but it was one of my favorite scenes I've seen in the Clone Wars. It was really, really well done, and it was beautiful. Now, There was also, let's see, there was the first episode, then that happened the second episode, they got captured, fought a bunch, and then the fourth episode, I'm just going to kind of spoil stuff here. They go back, they end up destroying the crystal, and all of Grievous's fleet, the only survivors are like Grievous and Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like everything else gets destroyed. I'm surprised that Sidious hasn't just killed Grievous yet, or Dooku. He fails so much. So does Dooku. It's like ridiculous how much they fail in the Clone Wars. Hopefully Rebels won't have their villains fail this much. But they go back and report to the council. Yoda makes a reference to the Star Wars legends. He's like, legends might be true, might not be, blah, blah, blah. I guess they were like, here, we can totally make our fans get them with another Legends thing. And still, I find that a little bit ridiculous. I'm warming up to it a little bit more now. But, I mean, I think they went overkill with what they declared Legends and what they declared canon, because there's so little that's canon left. There should have been a few books, a few games in there, but that's just my opinion. Probably the right opinion, because what they did put in there was barely anything at all. Anyway, Yoda talks about Legends, kind of explains that it was used. Anakin's like, I thought that those were just child stories, and they all look to Yoda, and Yoda's like, they were used in the old Jedi Sith War stuff. So I'm thinking back, like, Revan, Bane, these Kyber crystals were used there. I'm trying to think, because I swear I've heard Kyber crystal before. I just cannot think for the life of me where I've heard it, or if I'm just imagining it. But then we learn that this is most likely what's in the Death Star. They hint at it, that it can like destroy planets and stuff, and I'm like, have they destroyed other planets with this in the past? Like, it's really, really interesting. So Kyber crystals are a big thing, and I believe that's what's in the Death Star, to make it destroy planets. But yeah, those are the highlights of this episode. Wow, I went over just a couple of details in 7 minutes. I think I'm doing good. So this was a really good episode, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to place it third in my favorite Clone Wars story arc, I guess. My third favorite Star Wars, the Clone Wars story arc. My first was the Ahsoka gets blamed for everything, leaves the Jedi Order, especially for that last scene. It was beautifully done. If she hadn't left the Jedi Order, it probably wouldn't have had the same emotional pull. Probably still would have been one of my top favorites, just probably wouldn't have been number one. My number two was the Mortis trilogy. The Mortis trilogy was absolutely superbly well done. I loved it. It was amazing. And this is my third favorite trilogy. It had a great dynamic kind of interaction between Anakin and Obi-Wan. It had Grievous. It had awesome classic characters. It had some new kind of fun characters. One of the characters I thought was going to be in episode 3, turns out they weren't, because they got killed off, though they seemed like the dude who was in episode 3. And yeah. So this was an awesome arc, and it's appealed to everyone I've seen. On the Star Wars boards, there are these two people who I notice a lot because I see their names come up in a bunch of forum posts, and they're completely opposite side of the fandom. One of them is more so close to where I am in the fandom. One of them's like way, way, way far away from where I am in the fandom, not like in the Ahsoka stuff or any of that. But everybody's loving this arc, and I think that it's my part of the fandom that's really that it's a surprise that we like this arc as much, because this is usually the kind of stuff that I'm not that big of a fan of, but it was really well done. It was really superb. They did an absolutely wonderful job. I highly recommend checking out these episodes. They aren't finished, and it won't look as great as the Clone Wars, but I think that that's made it all the better. In fact, I think that that's probably, without me wanting to admit it, is probably one of the reasons that it's one of my favorite Clone Wars arcs, is because it's unfinished and we almost didn't get it, and it's giving us hope that there's going to be more Clone Wars stuff. And please, if I doubt that anyone from who works on this is watching, but the Echo arc, can we get that in some form? Comic book, video game, novel, anything. I beg of you. That, the Rex and R2-D2 one you were talking about, all of them, I would pay good money. I would pay $27 for a hardback book for every single one of these story arcs to be completed. or just a bunch for comics, because if it's comics, I usually get more than one of each, usually. Which reminds me, I need to get another of the Darth Maul. Anyway, I'm going off on a rant now. This is an absolutely superb arc. It appeals to everyone in the fandom. You're gonna love it as long as you can stand the storyboard real. Which, I mean, if you're a Clone Wars fan, you're gonna be able to stand it. You're gonna go and watch these 4 episodes. Let me make it clear there are 4. StarWars.com. I do believe they're on YouTube too, because I think I ended up downloading them. I thought that there were only 3 at first, because the 4th episode, it showed it was only like 26 seconds, so I assumed it was a preview. It's not, it's the 4th episode. You need to watch all 4 of them, not just 3. I almost made the mistake of only watching 3 of them. It would have been a bad thing. But yeah, before I go off and rant any longer, I'm going to give this story arc a 5 out of 5. Even though the animation's not done, I'm doing this solely on the story, the character development, the emotion of it. I don't think a Clone Wars episode has made me shed tears since, well, I want to say since the Ahsoka arc, but I mean, before the Ahsoka arc, it wasn't anything. So this is like one of the 2 Clone Wars episode things that have made me shed tears. I don't know if it's because they talked about Ahsoka, or if it's because I was so excited that we were getting new episodes, but it was absolutely wonderful. So thank you for watching, and please, I urge you, you need to go check these out. If nothing else, because you will be doing yourself a major favor by watching these absolutely beautifully done episodes. I don't even know how to put more emphasis on this. They're so beautifully done. It is just so spectacular, and hopefully they'll do more of these for us. Because just wow. So go check out Clone Wars Legacy. That's what it's called. The Crisis on Utapau or something like that. It's on StarWars.com. And probably on other sites too now. So thank you for watching. I'm not going to rant anymore. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you like this. And until next time, Boba7772 out.